I am Harshil Khatri, your host for tonight. And it seems all of you are filled with enthusiasm, is it? So today, we are here for the first event of the session called the CEO Connect. And our special guest for the evening is an IIT Bombay alum, a Forbes 30 under 30, one of Time Magazine's 100, one of the 100 most influential people, and founder and the founder of 2 Indian unicorns, Mr. Bhavish Aggarwal. So Mr. Bhavish Aggarwal is an Indian entrepreneur who is the founder and CEO of the ride-sharing company Ola Cabs, established in December 2010. Today, Ola Cabs boasts over 1.5 million driver partners and is operational across 250 plus cities globally. Including India, the UK, Australia, and New Zealand. The company offers a dozen services including peer-to-peer ride-sharing in luxury or regular cars, auto rickshaws, bikes, taxis, and food delivery. IIT Bombay alumnus Bhavish Aggarwal worked at Microsoft Research India for 2 years before establishing his own company. He received the Innovation in Transportation Award from First and Civilian in 2014. In 2015, Ola was named Startup of the Year by the Economic Times and received the Leadership Award from Outstanding Startup from Forbes India. He was also named Entrepreneur of the Year by the Economic Times. Ola Electric was established in 2017 as a wholly owned subsidiary of ANI Technologies, the parent entity of Ola Cabs. The company was started to reduce emission and fuel dependency of Ola Cabs and shift to mass electric mobility. They have set up charging stations across the city and procured electric cabs, e-buses, and e-rickshaws from OEM partners. Before inviting our guest, I would like to invite the moderators for today's session, Aastha, Patel, and Rachit Merani, Students Alumni Relations Cell CTMs, or co-team members. We all are extremely excited to hear from him, so let's call him on the stage with a huge round of applause. Please welcome Mr. Bhavish Aggarwal.
I'm asking, is it students or a mix of students and professors and students? Okay, maybe 99% students. Okay, now I'm super excited to be here, guys. Looking at all of you, I'm assuming it's a mix of batches, first year, second year, third year, masters, etc. मुझे अपने यहाँ पे 4 साल याद आ रहे हैं. Today I came in, saw all the people outside the convocation hall taking photographs with each other. And it was just 14 years ago I was going through the same emotions. So I'm really excited to be here. I thank the SARC team who organized this whole thing. And I'm looking forward to our conversation. And thank you for having me. One more thing I'll say. कोई मुझे Mr. Bhavish Aggarwal नहीं बुलाएगा, ठीक है? Just call me Bhavish.
I think with that, we'll have to make a lot of changes to the script of today's. So yeah, thank you so much for being here with us today. It's a pleasure to have you. Before we officially begin, let me give you a roadmap of today's session. We will be starting with your journey here at IIT Bombay, followed by your small stint at Microsoft, and then the entrepreneurial expedition that led to Ola. After that segment, we will get into, say, an informal and interactive session, which will be more about exploring you, Bhavish Aggarwal, the tycoon, the IITian.
मैं कह रहा था, just before you ask your questions, let me just understand the audience. How many of you are final year students here? तो आपको पार्टी करने नहीं जाना है ग्रेजुएशन के बाद? अच्छा, फाइनल ईयर में हो? अच्छा, any graduated people here? Convocation के लिए आए हैं जो 3 बैठे हैं. आपने तो स्पीच सुन ली यार मेरी अभी पिछले सेशन में. No, I'm my 4 years here were what I would say the best years of my life. When you are in these, in IIT, you don't realize how lucky you are, not just academically, but in building the kind of friendships you build, building the kind of relationships you build with your professors, with your peers, across departments, across hostels. And you all have had a challenging last 2 years where you were not in person together all the time, right? So, and I'm assuming you all had figured out how to be in touch, how to build relationships despite the challenges you faced because of COVID. But जो 4 साल में आप दोस्ती, रिश्तेदारी तो नहीं बोलना चाहिए. Although I met my wife in IIT, so for me. But the kind of friendships you take away from here are going to be your lifetime treasure. And yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So sure, let's begin. So welcome back to your alma mater. Guys, give him a cheer. So you obviously are a celebrity around here. And you've been in the campus for quite some time now. How has the experience been like? How is it different? How is it unique from when you were here, walking these corridors, going to lectures? How is it different?
मेरा चल रहा है. मेरे टाइम पे सिर्फ H13 तक ही हॉस्टल थे, right? अभी तो 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 भी हो गया.
19 बन रहा है.
18 ही है, होने वाला होगा शायद 19. So it's very exciting to see a few things. One, it's very good to see IIT grow, the ecosystem grow, the number of professors grow, the number of students grow. मेरे टाइम पे कंप्यूटर साइंस में 60 का बैच था अंडरग्रेड, उसमें 59 बॉयज़ थे और एक गर्ल थी. और वो भी सेकेंड ईयर में ब्रांच चेंज करके आई थी. But now it's so nice to see, in the previous session, where, in the CS department convocation, there were about, I would say, 1/3 women, 1/3 girls. And it's very encouraging to see more and more diversity coming across. Many things feel different. It feels larger, it feels wider, but in many ways it's still the same. आप लोगों में मुझे वही जोश दिख रहा है जो मेरे को मेरे फ्रेंड्स में दिखता था जब मैं यहाँ बैठा होता था. ये बिल्डिंग नहीं थी, हमारे ये इस तरह के इवेंट LT में होते थे. अभी भी LT है. So we used to have these kind of events, and I remember when I was in my first year, I don't know who the speaker was, some similar CEO Connect program, and I went there and I said, आगे से कोई CEO Connect में नहीं जाऊँगा मैं. Hopefully today is different.
Yeah, sure, sir. Today is going to be different for sure. And now let's talk about your intern at Microsoft. Would you like to share some moments, or what was your work? How was your experience there?
We made a big jump from my first year to my intern. In IIT, I was in the CS department, so I was reasonably good at academics. Before I got into IIT. And at IIT, I decided to spend a lot more time just understanding myself and my passions. So I spent a lot of time doing a lot of extracurricular activities, organizing different of these kind of festivals. I used to cycle. I cycled halfway to Goa once, spent a month in the Himalayas, did a lot of freelance projects for pocket money, web design. उस ज़माने में ना website बनाने का बहुत वो था जो आजकल में भी apps बनती होंगी. So a lot of my time went into exploring a lot more broader things. And then when I had to choose an internship, I chose Microsoft because it was not a typical, मेरे सारे batchmates, many of them were applying to foreign universities, foreign घूम के आना सबको. अभी भी ये होता है क्या?
हाँ सर बिल्कुल.
अभी भी होता है, तो जो spam करते हो अभी भी होता है. So I decided not to do that. I decided to go somewhere where I could just learn more about technology and research. And that was my experience at Microsoft. It was very different from what I would have imagined a software job to be like. It was very open-ended. And I would recommend all the people here who are technologically inclined to definitely think of experiencing research. Classroom में हम obviously बहुत कुछ सीखते हैं, but definitely try and experience research. Because that gives you a certain analytical frame of mind and analytical ability, which is useful in general beyond just your academics. In life, as you grow, as you experience new challenges, having a mindset of research, having a mindset of a scientific temper is very useful. So I would highly encourage somebody who is slightly oriented towards research to do research.
Thank you for that answer. Like that single-handedly inspired me to do research in my core field now.
I will check on you whether you do it or not, okay?
Sure. But sir, so much enthu for research, and then after, say, a 2-year stint at Microsoft, you decided to go on the entrepreneur's way and build a company called Ola Cabs. So just like a bad experience in cab is something that inspired the creation of Ola Cabs. Like a lot of people have bad experiences. What inspired you to make a company out of it? And not just any company, it is a company that revolutionized the Indian ride-sharing business and industry as a whole. So what got that rigor or that spark moment?
Many of you would want to be entrepreneurs as you pass out of IIT and you carry on in your lives. For me, the motivation has always been, even through my IIT days, has been to set up something of impact. I was not very fussed about which domain I start a company in. And that's why probably I ended up starting 2 companies, one in mobility, one in electric vehicles. But it was never about ye karna hai ya ye karna hai ya, sometimes we feel that technologically deep nahi hai to nahi karenge. It was, for me, the passion and the excitement was I want to do something of scale, I want to impact a lot of people, and I want to contribute in nation building, right? So it was always that mindset. And the first idea I stumbled upon was, actually I stumbled upon many ideas, most of them were useless, till this one clicked. So this one, when I left my job at Microsoft, I started off a business which was very different from what Ola Cabs today is. It was a travel booking website. That's how boring it was. Right? So it was a website you would go and book tours. जैसे आप अगर बॉम्बे से पुणे जा रहे हैं तो पुणे में कुछ घूमने के लिए चाहिए. And then I soon realized कि boss ये तो business नहीं चलेगा. So thankfully I was not wedded to the idea. I was very open-minded and I would say intellectually honest about pivoting. So we evolved into what eventually became Ola Cabs. And then in many ways it's not about the idea alone. Idea is actually, I would say, 0.1% of the, or maybe not even 0.1% of the eventual success. If you want to achieve a big success, if you want to dream big, you have to be ready to work really hard. We had a lot of moments in our 12-year journey where ऐसा लगता था कि यार बस छोड़ दो. Right? Like when we were just a 2-year-old company, there were FIRs against me because the incumbent taxi industry felt threatened by what we were doing. Then there were periods where we had almost run out of cash. We had maybe days of cash left, and sometimes वो lucky होती है कि days of cash था और किसी ने पैसा दे दिया, right? So a lot of hard work is required in any field, not just entrepreneurship. If you want to aim big and dream big and be a world-class fundamental researcher, or if you want to really be a top-notch banker, you will have to work hard. Right? Sorry, थोड़ा ज्ञान सा लग रहा होगा. Right? हाँ? अच्छा लग रहा है? ठीक है. But यही सच्चाई है दुनिया की. यही this is the truth. If you want to achieve big things in life, you have to be prepared to do big sacrifices. Right? And you have to be willing to persevere through tough times. So that's kind of been the constant theme throughout my journey as an entrepreneur.
Great to hear that, sir. It's a kind of eye-opening talk for us. So as you know, like Insti mein hota hai ki we get some fun day talks from our seniors. So I guess abhi ke liye to you will be the best person to give us that fun day talk. So what would you say 5 do's and don'ts you want to suggest your juniors or all of us?
Man, that's a hard question. 5 do's and don'ts. I would say only one main do, which is just follow whatever जो भी दिल में इच्छा है वो पूरी करो यहाँ पे 4 साल या 2 साल या 3 साल जितने भी साल आपके बाकी हैं. पढ़ाई करना है पढ़ाई करो, दुनिया एक्सप्लोर करनी है दुनिया एक्सप्लोर करो. You are in the most exciting city in the country. ग्रेड्स खराब हो जाते हैं. अभी तो कुछ चूज करना पड़ेगा यार लाइफ में. Yeah. So, but do what you just जो भी दिल you're all at an age where 10 years down you won't regret following your heart. Try and make sure grades are okay. बहुत खराब मत करना. उतना तो पढ़ाई कर लोगे यार, आप सब इतने smart लोग हो, IIT Bombay आए हो, you will be able to ensure your grades are not too bad. But make sure you explore yourself. You spend time understanding what you truly want, what you're truly good at. And you won't ever regret that time investment, right? Because later when you're married, when you have kids, and when you have a profession, making sure you choose what you love to do is the best, smartest thing you can do in your life. Because then, अभी 50 साल काम करना है इसके बाद, right? 50 साल काम करना है, खुद की कंपनी में भी करना है, या फिर रिसर्च में जाना है, PhD करना है, जो भी करना है, you need to enjoy that domain. And then the 50 years will look like 5 years. So spend these 3-4 years truly trying to understand yourself. That's the only do. Don't get bad grades.
So yeah, let's get back to Ola and shift the focus now from your first unicorn to your second unicorn. So Ola Cabs is already doing phenomenal. Everything is going perfectly fine from the outside. I don't know about the inside. But then we talk about
तुझे अंदर की खबर है क्या? तेरे को मैं बाहर मिलता हूँ, ठीक है?
As you said, sir, struggle हर चीज़ में करना पड़ता है. When you strive for perfection, it's a constant process. So let's talk about Ola Electric. Now, you already have a startup that is minting money, and you decide to start a second venture, put in that effort, and you decide that it needs to be in the EV industry, which is very nascent in a country like India. Like, could you walk us through that? Like, how do you decide which industry you want to revolutionize next after, doing it with one?
ऐसा कोई Excel sheet नहीं बनता है. Industry 1, Industry 2, Industry 3, Industry 4, Industry 5, कितना market है, कितना penetration है. This is not how, at least I take my life's decisions, right? For me, passion होना चाहिए, दिल से आवाज़ आनी चाहिए कि यार ये करना है. And what I have learned now over the last decade probably is कि time वहाँ लगाओ जहाँ पे दुनिया को, देश को बड़ी तरीके से impact कर सको. Right? So when I started Ola Electric probably about 4 years ago, Ola was already doing fairly well. We were on the path to becoming profitable. Today we are very profitable. And Ola Electric में मेरी सोच ये थी कि now one of the biggest challenges we have as a country, as a society, is climate change. And climate change, pollution, we all face it every day. City में इतना pollution होता है. And instead of just being part of the problem, how can we be part of the solution? And at that point, the EV industry was very nascent. There was nothing happening in India, very little happening abroad also or globally. A few companies were doing some stuff in the US, Tesla, etc. But doing something for the US and doing something for the Indian reality is very different. So we realized that if India has to be a global leader in electrification, we can and we will have to be the company which charts that path and puts that roadmap. And because the vehicles we buy in India are very different from the vehicles sold in the US or Europe. The consumer pricing or the consumer purchasing power in India is very different from that in the West. And it's not just even about the products that we buy as electric vehicles. Even the core technology which makes up the electric vehicles, the cells, the electronics, the software inside it has to be built from a very India-first requirement standpoint. So that was our thinking, and then that's how we set up Ola Electric. And again, while the ambition is very big, the start was very step-by-step, slow, organic. And we are gaining steam. The Indian EV revolution is truly gaining steam. And this will be, there are every 20, 30 years, there are some disruptive ideas. When I was your age, 18, 20 years old, that disruptive idea was the internet. Even today, still, the internet is still not, it's not plateaued. There are a lot of innovations happening in the internet domain. But the biggest challenge for society today is to truly solve for living sustainably, living in harmony with our environment. And that includes completely rewiring the supply, where our energy comes from, inventing those technologies and those products and solutions which will enable this kind of a clean future. and building products on top of them, building new age distribution mechanisms to take those products to consumers across the world. And this is our opportunity as a nation, actually, as India. This is our opportunity to truly lead the world.
Yeah, that's so nice. काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें थी जो as in you talk about कि you should have a dream and you should have a final goal. So I would like to ask कि जो भी आपने 2 स्टार्टअप करे और उसको इतनी बड़ी मुकाम तक लेके गए, so is there like IIT का कुछ ज्ञान या फिर anything related to IIT which help you for your startup?
सब कुछ जो भी ज्ञान पाया है यहीं पाया है, ठीक है. मैं ये दिल से बोल रहा हूँ कि जो भी सीखा है ना वो इन 4 सालों में सीखा था मैंने. उसके बाद भी बहुत कुछ सीखा, बट वो फाउंडेशन जो है वो इन 4 सालों में बनती है. एकेडमिक फाउंडेशन, पर्सनालिटी फाउंडेशन, योर फ्रेंडशिप्स. लाइक व्हेन आई स्टार्टेड ओला, माय फर्स्ट इन्वेस्टर्स वेयर तब 12 साल पहले कोई वीसी इकोसिस्टम होता नहीं था इंडिया में, एंजल इकोसिस्टम होता नहीं था. सो माय फर्स्ट इन्वेस्टर्स वेयर माय फ्रेंड्स फ्रॉम IIT, माय सीनियर्स फ्रॉम IIT. मैं तो बेशरम की तरह उनके पास पहुंच गया, मैं कंपनी शुरू कर रहा हूँ, मेरे को दो पैसे दो. And many of them wrote checks to me. So that's what IIT gives you. It gives you the friendships and those learnings, academic as well as outside class, which sets you up for the best foundation.
So what do you think? Is there any benefit of being an IITian, like the name of IITB?
आप लोगों को क्या लगता है, बेनिफिट है ना? अब इतनी मेहनत करके आए हैं तो हाँ ही बोलेंगे ना.
So, leading as a leading entrepreneur of very new industries and setting the pace for a nation like India, what do you think the future potential is in India now that the startup culture has really matured itself? Entrepreneurs are like getting more support. It's less socially stigmatized as it was at that time. What do you think the future of India holds for like IIT Bombay students?
When I started up in 2010, you mentioned social stigma, right? So it was not normal to start up. It was the startup revolution or movement was just getting started, I believe. And when I went to my parents and said, "Okay, Papa, I'm going to leave my job and I want to start," they were quite surprised. एक startup क्या होता है? There was this thing about startup. आजकल तो maybe हर घर में startup होता है, but then there was nothing called startup. So my father googled startup. But credit to him, he was very supportive. He wanted me to follow my dreams, and hence I was able to. Back then, even the ecosystem, the investing ecosystem, the venture capital, बहुत ही early था. So a lot of hustle was required back then to even do basic things. But today it's very different, and that's an advantage you all have as you go out into your careers, as you think of either starting a startup or joining a startup. Today India is in a very different place than it was 12, 15 years back. This is in many ways India's moment. If you look at around the world is in a very complex space. The West is increasingly becoming older, becoming less hardworking. The East, which is China, etc., is kind of closing onto itself. The country which is young, which is hardworking, and which is open to the world is India. It's the only country in the world. And not just that, you are the ones who are going to set the agenda for the world, not just for India. So ये बहुत बड़ी responsibility है. Responsibility है और opportunity भी है, responsibility भी है. And the next 2 decades, I believe, are truly ours to build what we have always dreamt of, what the country of our dreams. When we go to America, when we go to Europe, we see all these developed institutions there or developed cities there. This is what is going to happen to India in the next 20, 25 years. And you all will make it happen. So my point on that only is, as you start your journeys, make sure you have this spirit and this dream and this reality in your mind. you are building the next paradigms for India and for the world. And if you have that in your mind, you will do really well.
Well, we have the support of icons, idols, and alumni like yourself, so amen. So, next question. Have you ever Googled yourself?
Obviously. But you know why I Google myself? I don't click the enter button. I want to see what are the suggestions coming up. So I write my name sometimes, and then I see what are the suggested searches. So sometimes it is net worth, sometimes it is girlfriend. And I'm like, I have a wife, yeah, why is girlfriend coming up? So, sometimes it is house, but it's very interesting to see how that evolves over time.
So we have a dedicated segment for that today. So we Googled you, and I can guarantee you wife was way up, above girlfriend.
Acha? I feel safe.
So we have cards, and we looked Bhavish Aggarwal up on Google properly. We did some research, and there are a few questions here.
This is scary, huh?
So the first question, what is Bhavish Aggarwal's favorite vacation destination?
Are you sure that comes up as the first
Yes.
question? Really? First, when was our last vacation, Raj? No, I think I would also like to know that question, the answer to that question.
Guys, we are open for suggestions.
No, my wife is here, so I should not be. I don't want to get into the vacation conversation right now.
So,
ये तो पूरा कॉफी विद करण हो गया यार.
सर बार-बार थोड़ी आते हो आप. What is Bhavish Aggarwal's most prized possession?
What is my most prized possession? My No, wife is not a possession. I would say my relationship with myself. It is very important for all of us to know ourselves from within. Who we are, what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are, what our motivations are. And it takes a lot of time to really genuinely know yourself. It's quite ironical that the person you spend the most time with is yourself, unless you're on OTT all the time. But I feel that's the most prized possession any human can have.
Very philosophical. Can't relate. What is Bhavish Aggarwal's favorite Ola moment?
My most favorite moments are these annual launches that we do now on 15th August every year. Right? I don't know how many of you have seen our 15th August launches. You have? So within that also my favorite moment is when I get onto the roof of my factory. Yeah, so I love getting onto the roof of my factory. It's a 20-meter high roof, a lot of strong winds. My team wants me to harness up, and I don't like to harness. That's my most favorite moment.
Truly living on the edge. What is Bhavish Aggarwal's dog's name?
I want to know, why is this even a relevant question to this audience?
These are just Google questions, sir. We didn't do anything.
Now, my wife and I have two beautiful dogs at home, and not just that, we have adopted about 15 odd dogs, street dogs in our office. So if any of you end up happening to join Ola after you graduate, you will meet our office dogs. They are allowed to go anywhere in the office, any of the 10 floors. And they welcome everybody. हमने जब शुरू में ये किया तो all the Ola employees, many of them, most of the people were not very used to dogs. So सबको थोड़ा डर था. And then after 5 days, everybody just loved the dogs, because dogs are such genuine, gentle creatures, right? They're just so genuine and loving. Right? So I think dog का नाम important नहीं है, but the fact is that animals, dogs, but more broadly, animals have such love to share to humans. My wife is a big animal person. I have learned through her the love for animals and the interest in animals. And there's a lot of, sometimes we feel that animals बहुत dumb होते हैं, but no, they communicate very, very smartly with each other. They just don't speak, but they communicate.
I think IIT Bombay hostels taught you a little bit about that.
I never communicated with a cheetah or a crocodile, thankfully. आजकल आता है क्या cheetah? आता है? किसने देखा है यहाँ पे? H6 में आता है? हमारे टाइम में H7 में आता था. H7 was the lady on the H9 was the lady on the lake.
H9 is Pluto. H7.
H7 is a lady on the lake, right? हाँ. So H7 में there used to be more crocodiles. Yeah.
So yeah, last question of this card. What is the first thing on Bhavish Aggarwal's bucket list?
First thing on my bucket list is to check off my wife's bucket list.
Can we have the next card?
I would rather just earn some brownie points today, no? अभी और भी है?
So there are 3 cards.
मेरा gift hamper ready है ना?
Yes, sir, it's ready.
Should I remove it?
Yeah, sure. Sure, sir.
But it will be odd if I only remove and I only ask.
There's a wired autocomplete into.
अच्छा. Is Bhavish Aggarwal a fluent Punjabi speaker? माड़ी मोटी आती है मैनू. Any Punjabis in the house? थोड़ी मेरी पंजाबी माफ कर देना यार. Am I a fitness freak? First you build 2 unicorns and then answer me, okay? No, but yeah. Sorry, I'm just having fun, okay? Don't mind me. Huh? पता नहीं.
Big.
But am I a fit? I used to be when I was your age in IIT, I used to be a massive fitness freak. I have spent a month in the Himalayas in one of my summer breaks, I think 2nd year or 3rd year. I have cycled from Manali to Leh. तो कोई सब करना है जिसने बोला था ना इधर से हाँ ये तेरी bucket list बन रही है. So I used to be, but I have learned the hard way that you should not give up on fitness. So hopefully soon I will be getting back into it.
Mic drop moments, guys.
I think ये तो आंसर हो गया.
ये तो पता है सर. अब तो पता है.
I think next week खोलता हूँ मैं.
Is Bhavish Aggarwal a good cook? Yes or no?
Raj, you want to answer this question? No? I think we should not answer this question. But okay, I'll answer this question. The only thing I know how to cook is Maggie because of IIT Bombay. क्या लगता है आपको? How many people are saying yes? I like the fact that majority of the people think I was very good at going to classes. I will take that as a compliment and leave the question at that.
So we thought we will gonna get some interesting memories maybe.
I just in case there are, don't get influenced by what I'm going to say now. But I did not, I had a poor attendance record, but whatever was relevant I used to go to. It might be easier if you knew.
Yeah, sure.
How did we come up with the name Ola? It is Spanish for hello, somebody said it there. But you know what, I wanted a name when I was giving the name, I wanted a name which was young and youthful and energetic. And Ola fit the bill. But there were many other names also. But the reason we chose Ola was in the end .com domain available tha. How did I get an internship at Microsoft? Actually, जिसने भी ये पूछा, he knows my grades from IIT Bombay. That's why he's asking कि भाई ये grade के बावजूद भी कैसे घुस गए तुम Microsoft में? No. हाँ? मेरी CPI? देखो जब मेरा फर्स्ट सेमेस्टर होता तो मैं 9 पॉइंटर था. लास्ट सेमेस्टर वाला नहीं बताऊंगा मैं.
All in good time, guys. All in good time.
I got into Microsoft because देखो मैं CS में था, तो CS में ना below it वालों की भी थोड़ी सी पहचान होती है. So any CS department people here? Okay. Next. How do I relax? Instagram. Actually, more Twitter than Instagram. But no, see, I really enjoy what I do. I enjoy every day at office. I don't think of it as a burden or a stress. And every day I come back home and, my wife Raj, she just sometimes comments कि तुम तो एकदम relax लग रहे हो. Right? Because actually, there are day-to-day stresses here and there, but there is no real as a burden that you carry if you enjoy what you do. So मुझे तो बहुत मज़ा आता है. मैं सुबह जाता हूँ. I work with the brightest minds in the country. So many very smart, super smart engineers and managerial people. I have the privilege of working with such a world-class team on such a world-class set of problems that we've chosen for ourselves. So there's no need to relax. You don't.
Yeah. How did Bhavish Aggarwal select his hairstyle?
I mean, there's not much to select. अभी भगवान ने जितना दिया है उसमें मैनेज करना है.
And about the last question, I guess ये सबको जानना होगा. So let's open it. How to contact Bhavish Aggarwal?
Drop me a direct message on Instagram. That was fun. यार मेरा gift hamper दे दो मुझे.
Sure, we have a gift hamper for you.
मैं मजाक कर रहा था यार.
Also, from my side, I want to add one question. Whenever I type Bhavish Aggarwal, more than a Bhavish Aggarwal, I got a Bhavish Aggarwal wife. What do you want to say about this?
Firstly, why do you type Bhavish Aggarwal?
Because I have to take your interview, so I should know about you.
So it says Bhavish Aggarwal wife.
Yes.
But behind every successful man, there is a woman, right? Sometimes you always have to, on a serious note, when, in an entrepreneur's journey, there is a lot of hard work, 15 hours a day, 7 days a week, through years and eventually decades. And the family has to really support. And I think I'm the luckiest man that my wife is so supportive. And she and I, we dated when we were both studying. I was in my 4th year at IIT. I proposed to her in my 3rd year. She said no. And then after 1 year, she only proposed to me. So कभी-कभी अकल आ जाती है. Sorry. So then we started dating when I was at the start of my 4th year. And she has known me since before anything called Ola ever existed or I had any job or anything, right? So her support, many times I have been absent from home at days on end, maybe not physically absent but mentally absent because mind is always so caught up in building what we are building. But she has always stood like a rock by the side of me. So I really want to thank her today. or make sure when you find a life partner, you find a life partner who truly cares for you. Right? That is the smartest, best decision you can make in your life. And also care for your life partner. It's a corollary, obviously.
So that brings us to the last segment. इसके बाद gift hamper है sir, पक्का. So with great power comes great responsibility, and with great fame comes a lot of rumors. So now we're not sure whether these are true or not. So we need your reply to whether these are myths or realities. So the first rumor is that Bhavish Aggarwal wanted to be a 6-point someone.
I don't think that's a rumor. I think that's a fact.
Yeah, so the second one we got as a
6
rumor.
point someone, you mean the CPI, right?
The 5-point someone is the book and 6-point someone.
अब तो मैंने CPI बता दी आपको अपनी.
अब सबको पता पड़ गया.
Yeah, so as a 6-point something, वो तो पता चल गया. But now let's come to the reason. So we heard that the reason of the CPI is your girlfriend because आपने बोला first year में नहीं था.
नहीं, I take sole responsibility of that. I will not put that on anybody else's shoulders. Sorry?
Nothing.
No, I'm saying. हाँ, नहीं, मैं इसको आंसर नहीं करना चाहूँगा. It is obviously not my girlfriend who is now my wife, Raj. Although we did start dating in my 4th year. So 4th year में थोड़ी कम पढ़ाई हुई थी. But CPI तो खराब पहले ही हो गई थी.
So another rumor is that your relatives thought that you had started a travel agency.
That's true. When my grandfather, when I set up Ola, and my grandfather, when I set up Ola, he was above 80. So he said, "Acha, tum travel agency khol rahe ho?" When I explained the business to him, and I couldn't explain to him what is this online, and आप website पे book करोगे, app में book करोगे. He said, "अच्छा, travel agency है." तो कहते, बेटा IIT पढ़ के travel agency क्यों खोली तुमने?
Yeah, so we heard one of your interview and you mentioned something about the 5-point someone, the book, I guess. So.
Are you really
Yes,
inspired by that book?
Yeah, because.
No, not really. But I did read that book in my IIT time. I think तभी निकली थी. मैं first year में था शायद. Now Chetan Bhagat is a very dear friend of mine now, so I know him very well. So I know the true story behind that.
I guess that's all. That's all the rumors we could find. So that brings us to the end of the talk. And I would like to thank you wholeheartedly on behalf of everyone present here. Guys, give him a cheer.
Thank you.
Sir, ये आप ही की जनता है. आते रहो.
Sorry?
Keep coming back to Insti.
I just want to end today by saying that I just want to reiterate that have fun in whatever time you have here. This is the best place in the country, probably the world. You have the best of people around you as your friends. You have the best professors here to learn from. And make sure life में जो भी करो पूरा दिल खोल के करो और बड़ा aim रखो. ठीक है? All right. Good to meet all of you.
Sir, we have a hamper as we promised.
So that was such an elegant, excellent and extraordinary session. I hope you all agree, right? So now I would like to request Naman Agarwal, our overall coordinator, to come up on the stage and present the memento.
Thank you, Naman.
Let's have a big applause.
All right. Thank you. Good job.
So thank you so much, sir, for taking out time from your very busy schedule. We at SARC would like to thank Dean ACR office for giving us the opportunity to have this interaction. A special thanks to Deepthi ma'am, Prachi ma'am, Shelda ma'am and Shrimoni ma'am for their constant guidance and support. Thanks to Rajlakshmi ma'am as well for coming here with Bhavish sir. And finally, thanks to every one of you for being here. We hope this session made your day. Now I request Rajlakshmi ma'am to join us on the stage for a picture. There are refreshments for you, so do enjoy. So that's all from my side for the day. Harshil Khatri signing off. Thank you. Thank you.